How is integral coaching different from other types of coaching?
So integral coaching is a method that's based on Ken Wilber's integral theory, which sees the world and people as being on a spiral of development that includes expansion of consciousness, and so that it's not a linear development. He suggests that every human being is constantly developing, not just through childhood, but through adulthood as well. And it's not linear, so there are certain areas in our life where we will have developed more than others. And the integral coaching method is one where, as a coach, I look at you as a whole person, and I get a sense of which areas need strengthening so that you can achieve the shifts that you want to achieve. And it's always with this whole person perspective in mind. So even if you come to me with a question or something that you want to shift specifically in your career, I'm still going to be looking at the whole person and how different aspects of how you function are showing up in that particular issue that you want to create a change.
So how would you do that? What is the process?
So the way that it would work is that on our first meeting, we would have just a simple conversation where you would tell me what was alive for you at that particular moment, any areas that you wanted to look at more specifically, and in the course of this conversation, we would settle on one sentence or a topic which would encapsulate as precisely as we possibly can where you want to make a change. Because the coaching program is only ever going to be 8 to 10 sessions long, so we need to be quite specific, because going for something that's too vague means that you don't see the change after 10 sessions. So that's why we want to be quite specific. And the beauty of it is that when you work specifically on one topic, you see actually that there are repercussions throughout your life. So it unravels things outside of that topic as well. But for the purpose of the program, we focus on one topic. So that's what would happen in the first conversation. Then I, the coach, would go away and sit with what I had heard and received from you in our conversation. And I would come up with two metaphors. One metaphor that represents how you are showing up currently in your topic, and a new metaphor for how you want to be in your topic. And in our second conversation, I would offer these metaphors to you, and that's where we truly start to work together, because if the metaphors aren't quite right or they don't quite land, that's where we can talk to each other, talk about it and adjust anything that needs adjusting. In this session, I would also be offering to you which areas I think need developing, and I would leave you at the end of the session with a self-observation exercise where you would go away and you would have specific questions to journal about on a daily basis and once a week. Just basically noticing and starting to become familiar with your current way metaphor, and just noticing where that showed up in your life on a daily basis. So that would be the first two sessions, the kind of setting up of the program. And then the following sessions would be each one what we call a cycle of development, in which we would revise whatever had been learned and integrated by you, the client, in the 2 weeks, and we would create together a practice that would be specifically designed to strengthen whatever capability you want to strengthen to make the change that you want to change. So it's a little bit like musicians or actors or dancers. They don't go and practice what they need to dance or sing or play on stage. They practice in their practice room. And so these little practices that we would be creating together would be an opportunity for you to practice how you want to be, or develop the capabilities that you need to show up how you want to show up in your topic in a low stress environment, and it can be anything. So there's always a little bit of journaling because it's a really beautiful way of integrating things and processing things. But the practice also can include anything from a yoga practice, a yoga flow, a bit of meditation. It could be taking a walk outside and paying attention to something specific. It could be just taking 5 minutes out of the day with a cup of coffee. And the point is that it's completely tailored to who you are, how you are in this particular moment in time. And that's why there's not one size fits all. It's completely and specifically tailored to you. So that's how it would look like.
And is there a specific sort of person that you believe would benefit most from this sort of coaching?
I think anyone can benefit, and I think people who are ready to let go of what is keeping them stuck wherever they are, that they feel stuck in. When we are ready to let go of those patterns, those are the people who seem to make the most of the coaching.
Can you give examples of who exactly you've helped and how things have shifted for them?
Yes, sure. So the majority of my clients so far have been women, and it's interesting because I really think that at the moment women are in a period of transition, actually men and women. We are realizing that our conditioning is no longer serving us, the good girl conditioning, but then also the flip side of that, which is the I can do it all Wonder Woman conditioning, I don't need any help, is also not serving us, because we're trying to do what men do in the same way that they do it, but without drawing on the resources and the networks that they are. So we're burning out, basically. We're being mother and partner and housekeeper and Wonder Woman at work, and it's not working. We are burning out. So we need a different way of being. And those, the most fundamental shift, I think, is where it's, for us women in particular, is to really learn to connect to our desire with a big D. So not the object of our desire, but our desire. What gets us up in the morning? What makes our heart sing? What are the things that are really important to us? And so the most of the clients I've been working with, there's definitely been an element of that. And then also a big element in terms of how we show up in conversations, and really connecting to our desires is what underpins how we can show up powerfully in conversations, where we can ask for what we really want, and also control dynamics that are not healthy for us, or shift or move dynamics that we don't want to be stuck in. So that's the sort of work that I seem to be doing a lot of.
And what's your story? How did you get into this particular area of counselling and coaching? So
I'm a musician, and I have been playing the violin since I was 2.5. I've been a professional in London as a freelancer for the last 23 years. And life and other things have meant that all the skills that I have acquired through the playing, so the discipline and the embodiment, because that's always been something that's been really important to me as a performer. So walking on stage and really communicating with my audience about who I am as well as the music, having that real congruence in terms of how I present myself and what I say and how I say it. With the violin and also not with the violin, and then life also took me on a different journey where I had to recover from complex PTSD and was lucky enough to access wonderful embodied trauma therapists, and so my trajectory kind of brought me to this point in my life, and when I heard about integral coaching, it felt like the natural next step, and it really does use every single one of my skills, and in a really beautiful way, and I'm able to serve others in this way, in very powerful, structured method. So yes, that's why I'm here.
And in 2 languages.
And in 2 languages, yes, in French as well. Yeah.
So if someone has entered a period of change in their life and everything feels like it's chaos and they can't see what they want on the other side, if they understand themselves and their values but struggling to find the path towards happiness, how on earth can you help them find a medium-term direction to head in? Can you help someone like that?
Yes, absolutely, because there will be patterns with how belief systems, patterns that they are not seeing. We all have blind spots, and that's where I come in. It's by talking with my client, I can start to notice the beliefs that are underpinning how they show up, which they might not be aware of, and that's what I do. So I gently reflect back to them what I hear in terms of these patterns, and it's quite interesting the number of times that there's this aha moment, and even sometimes in mid-sentence I can go, oh, pause, this is your current way. How would your new way of being, what would they say? Well, how would they show up in your topic? So it can be quite, the aha moments are good, and that's where I come in, because I can see, because I'm on the outside looking in, and also looking as, actually I do a lot of work putting myself in my client's shoes, trying to look at the world through their eyes, and try to imagine what it might be like with their cultural context and their familial context and economic context and all these things that feed into how we view and show up in the world. So yes, absolutely. Somebody who is a little bit lost, I can help to bring more clarity.
And what's the difference between a coach and a therapist then?
So there are many different types of therapists and many different types of coaches, but the way I see it is that I always look at the here and now. So I support the clients to look at how they are showing up on a daily basis, in the small and big ways, small and big areas of their life, and just bringing awareness to what is going on now. And often that unpacks and helps them to see some things that have happened in the past, but that's where my role ends. My role is simply to help them gain awareness and real understanding of the frame that they are projecting onto the world, because that's what it is. It's a frame. We all operate from a particular frame, and if the frame is limiting us, then having somebody show you where the frame is, so that you can go, right, that's where my frame is ending, but I actually want it there. So how do I open that up? And that's where the practices come in.
And the aha moment.
And the aha moment. But it's not just the aha moments, because often a lot of therapies, they bring the aha moments and they bring the awareness, but there's no practice to integrate that. Because it's one thing to know that it's one thing to know that you have a certain pattern, but then because of how our brains are, we slip into automatic responses so easily, and that's where the practices come in, because the practices shift the automatic function and help us to become aware, but also to become aware enough that we can start to experiment and play with what is the alternative. If I don't respond from my automatic response, if I don't respond in an automatic way, then what's possible? What can I do instead? It's very playful and very powerful, because, well, as human beings, we stop playing when we reach adulthood, but this is how we learn. This is how we evolve, by experimenting, by playing, and this is part of the process.
So that was a very esoteric idea of shifting a framework, but what if I have one specific problem that I want to have addressed?
Yes, that as well. I have a client who has one specific problem that she's very clear about. And she's both, it's very interesting because when she talks to me about it, she's been talking to me about it from a million different angles without telling me what she really wants and how she really wants to tackle it. So my job was to just ask the questions to funnel all of that stuff into really getting to grips with what is most alive with her soul and mind and heart. And by the time we had this conversation, she was really clear about what her course of action was. And it was really beautiful to see the power that came from that. Instead of being scattered and being, and getting lost in the anger that she felt about this and the anxiety that she felt about that, suddenly it was like crystal clear what she was going to do. And that was really beautiful. So yes, even a very specific problem and trying to decide how to show up for it is that can be helped.
It sounds very gratifying.
It is. It's great fun, and I never fail to be amazed by the trust that my clients put in me. Just without the skills that I bring to the conversation, just being able to hold that container for an hour for someone and just hold the pieces of their heart wherever they are in that moment, without any judgment and without any kind of expectation, other than to just be there and be curious and to hold the space for whatever they need on that given day and in that given moment in their lives. Just that, we are so bad at offering that to each other in everyday life, and simply doing that is a gift which goes in both directions. The fact that people trust me to offer this to them is as much a gift to me as the gift that I'm offering them of this space. So yes, it is gratifying.